Welcome to the Explainer. So let's just jump right in. What if the toughest moments in your life, what if they weren't actually meant to break you, but to prepare you? Today, we're going to distill some really powerful wisdom on how to turn those trials into triumphs, and we're pulling from some of the most insightful voices out there.
Okay, let's kick things off with this huge idea from Tony Robbins. You see, the challenges you face, they aren't there to destroy you. Think of them more like a spotlight. They're there to reveal a strength you probably never even knew you had. A strength that was always inside you, just, waiting for its moment.
So, okay, that sounds great, but how do we actually learn from all this stuff? Well, our first big lesson is kind of a paradox. It turns out our deepest growth, it doesn't happen when things are easy and comfortable. Nope. It happens in what we could call the curriculum of pain. Basically, chaos becomes the classroom. And Archbishop Desmond Tutu put it so beautifully. He said pain can be a doorway. Think about it. It's in those moments when we feel completely broken, when all our defenses are just gone, that we finally get to connect with something way bigger than our own ego. All right, so this really lays out the two paths, right? On one side, you've got comfort. And yeah, it feels safe, but it can also make you complacent. It just reinforces your ego. But then you have chaos. And look, I get it. It's unsettling, for sure. But chaos is what strips away all the illusions. It forces you to just surrender to what's real. Which, of course, brings up a really important question. If pain is supposed to be this great teacher, how in the world do you tell the difference between a real spiritual lesson and just, pointless suffering? Well, the answer, according to writer Brianna Wiest, is all about a massive shift in your perspective. It's about stop asking that passive question, why me, and starting to ask the active one, what is this trying to show me? The second you make that switch, the second you trade being a victim for being a student, that's when the real lesson begins. Okay, but what happens when you ask, what is this showing me? And all you get back is silence. Crickets, right? Well, that brings us to our next big idea, how to find faith when heaven just seems totally quiet. The financial thinker Morgan Housel has this absolutely brilliant analogy for this. Think about it like a seed. Our faith, a lot of the time, is growing underground. You can't see the progress, right? But all the most important work is happening quietly, totally unseen, way before any little sprout breaks through the surface. And this is so important for getting through those silent periods. Belief, that comes from a place of trust, of long-term conviction. It lets you surrender. But control? Control comes from fear and that short-term anxiety, that panic that screams at you, if I don't force this, nothing's gonna happen. And oh man, the author John Acuff just nails this tension perfectly. When you try to micromanage everything, you create this frantic, suffocating energy. It's exhausting. But true belief, it just breathes. It leaves room for divine timing, for those unexpected paths to show up. This is such a powerful way to reframe it. That silence you might be feeling, it's not abandonment, not at all. It's an initiation. It's like the universe is handing you the steering wheel and saying, okay, I trust you. It's your turn to step into your power and navigate from here. And once you start to trust that inner authority, well, that's when the real magic, the real alchemy can begin. That's when you can start transforming your deepest pain into your greatest purpose. Mitch Albom puts this so beautifully. He says our deepest lessons aren't written in ink, they're written in scars. And I love that, because those scars, they aren't signs of weakness, not even close. They're like maps of our healing, just etched with a wisdom that you can never, ever erase. And this framework here, it's so powerful because it's active. See, meaning isn't something you just magically stumble upon in the pain. No, it's something you have to consciously create through how you respond to it, by asking, okay, what now? And then choosing to build something new right out of the wreckage. This is really the core of what you might call spiritual recycling, when we take our own tragedies and turn them into a source of connection or service, or maybe art. We redeem them. We make sure that none of that pain was wasted. And all of this leads us to the final stage of this journey, the comeback. But here's the thing, it's not really about winning or trying to get back to the person you used to be. It's about rising up with a totally new kind of grace. Okay, so the absolute foundation of any real comeback is radical honesty. I mean, as Glennon Doyle says, you can't heal what you hide. It's so true. You have to be willing to just look at the mess, to acknowledge the truth of what you went through. The new you isn't going to be built on illusions. It has to be built on what's real. And here we have a super practical toolkit for making that comeback happen. But I want you to notice something. The very first step, it's not some huge dramatic action. It's just a simple decision to rise. That's it. Everything else, all the forgiveness, the truth, the grace, it all flows from that one single powerful choice. When you get right down to it, grace is the engine that drives the whole comeback. It's not about being perfect. In fact, it's the freedom from ever needing to be perfect. It's that little permission slip you give yourself to just begin again and again, as many times as you need to.
And this final thought really brings everything full circle. When you look back, you start to see that every struggle, every silent moment, every single setback, none of it was a punishment. It was all preparation. It was preparing you for the person you are right now and for the person you're still becoming.
So as we wrap up, we want to leave you with this question to carry with you. Take a look at whatever challenges you're facing in your life right now. And instead of getting stuck on why they're happening, try asking this instead. What is all this preparing me for?